yours has picked up its electric vehicle momentum recently. It's been adding a few to Cadillac and also to Chevrolet, where you'll find my tester, the 2024 Blazer EV. Of course, EV stands for electric vehicle. It's an all-new model for 2024, and it joins the Chevrolet Equinox EV and Silverado EV in the lineup. There's a new version of the compact Bolt coming down the line as well, expected in the near future. The Blazer EV shares its name with the gasoline Blazer, but that's about it. It's built on an EV-specific platform that GM calls Ultium. It's generally known as a skateboard platform with the battery integrated into the chassis. It can be scaled to smaller vehicles like the compact Bolt, or to full size like the all-electric GMC Hummer or Cadillac Escalade IQ, and it has a modular battery so cells can be added or subtracted to get the size needed. The Blazer EV comes in LT trim or My RS, both of them with all-wheel drive and an 85 kilowatt-hour battery. The LT starts at $1 below $57,000, while the RS begins at $64,000 before any applicable federal or provincial green rebates, depending on where you live. Mine is further optioned with its radiant red tint coat paint for another $695. The RS can also be ordered with rear-wheel drive only, and it's the same $64,000 as the all-wheel RS. But for that same price, you get a larger 102 kilowatt-hour battery and longer range. Two motors, front and rear, power the all-wheel models like I have here, and they make a combined 288 horsepower and 325 foot-pounds of torque. The rear-wheel RS has a single motor making 340 horsepower and 325 foot-pounds of torque. Still to come to market is the Blazer EV SS model, and that's going to make 557 horsepower. The all-wheel models are rated for 449 kilometers on a charge, while the rear-wheel model is rated for 521. Of course, as with any electric vehicle, how and where you drive will affect how far you get on a charge, which is just the same as with a gasoline vehicle and how far you can go on a tank. Now, when the weather is bad, these conventional door handles are going to do better than what you see on some EVs, where they're flush mounted and they move in and out electrically. Here, you grab the handle, the door opens in any kind of weather, the handle works. Nice and simple. The charging port is on the driver's side front fender. It's behind a panel, and I have to admit that it looks good. It's basically invisible rather than a small door cut into the side. But from there, I'm not so sure. You tap a corner of the panel and it opens and closes on its own, and it takes its time about it. Many mainstream electrics come with a conventional push-pull door like a gas door. If the Blazer had one of those, I could open and close it 3 or 4 times for what it takes for this one to open. I don't need to be a speed freak, but it does seem unnecessarily complex, and that's in nice weather when it's not covered in snow or sleet. The Blazer EV isn't a real speed freak itself either, although I don't mean that as a bad thing. It's smooth and really peppy rather than a lightning-quick racer off the line, and that's okay. It handles getting up to speed or creeping through traffic equally well. Those who need speed can wait for the Blazer SS, and those who just want an electric SUV that handles everyday traffic and highway driving should be happy with the RS. It's definitely not a curvy road sports machine, and it's happiest when it's driven as an everyday people hauler. The steering is accurate, if not overly engaging, and the ride is on the firm side, especially with the 21-inch tires on the RS. You get 19-inch on the LT that are likely smoother and will be cheaper to replace. I'll call the Blazer pleasant to drive rather than exciting. The system puts back some power into the battery through regenerative braking, and you can set the level for that right to one-pedal driving. That's when the regeneration is strong enough that when you take your foot off the throttle, the vehicle slows and then stops. I'm not always a fan of these systems, but the Blazer's is pretty smooth and easy to modulate, and I've been using it almost exclusively. The Blazer includes adaptive cruise control, which keeps its distance from vehicles in front. Optional Super Cruise is coming to it, and that's GM's system that can drive hands-free on pre-mapped sections of highways and on some roads, but it's not available just yet. The cabin is a really nice place to be, with lots of soft-touch materials and a very handsome design, including air vents that are both good-looking and easy to use. What I don't like as much is that the Blazer starts when you sit in the driver's seat and shuts off when you get out. If you're leaving someone in the vehicle while you run an errand, you have to go into the screen and set it to stay on, and then later reset it so it turns off again. A conventional engine start-stop button is quick and simple. I also usually praise GM because when a vehicle has a head-up display, as the Blazer EV does, there are usually toggle switches to quickly adjust the settings. I want that to be easy when I'm sharing the vehicle with someone who's a different height, and so I need it to be higher or lower when I get in. But the Blazer now puts all that deep within menus in the touchscreen instead of those quick access toggles, and that's a shame. Some of the climate functions are tap the screen, including the heated seats, but fan speed and temperature can also be adjusted by buttons and dials, which I always prefer because they're less distracting. Both trims fill the dash with an 11-inch digital instrument cluster overlapping a 17.7-inch infotainment screen, and it includes Google built-in. This includes a lot of functions such as navigation and a Google Assistant, but you will require a subscription to get everything it's capable of doing. And if you don't want to go with Google and prefer to use your own device, you're stuck. The Blazer system doesn't include Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Keep that in mind if you're not happy if your phone's functions aren't following you everywhere. The seats are comfortable and it's very roomy in both rows. The cargo compartment is also generous, and for small item storage, there are 2 large covered bins in the center console, along with a wireless charger for stashing your phone. However, there's no front trunk or frunk under the hood, as there is with some other electric vehicles. Overall, the Blazer EV is good looking, it's very roomy, and it's comfortable. It's a good everyday driver, but while it holds its own, it's not a head and shoulders standout in the mainstream electric SUV crowd. For those who need direct connectivity, the Blazer's lack of it might be an issue too. Give it a test drive, but try others as well to see which all-electric is the most electrifying for you. For Driving.ca, I'm Jill McIntosh, and for more news and reviews, including electric, be sure to visit us at Driving.ca.